Welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I am your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is Damaris of Damaris Music. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Well,
Nice
it's a
to meet you
pleasure. We've had
finally.
some technical difficulties back and forth the last couple of days, but we got it figured out.
Yep.
Well, for me and everyone else out there in the world, why don't you give us a little bit of a backstory and who you are, and we'll pick it up from there.
Okay, well, my name is Damaris. That's what I go by. That is actually my given name. I get asked that. And so I've been writing music since I was 20. I'm 53 now, so the last 33 years. And I'm just writing songs and writing songs. And in my later life, when my children grew up, I thought, what if I played them out loud for people? So that's kind of the phase that I'm in right now, is all those songs I've been writing for 30 years now, putting them out in public. And so I've got a couple albums out now, and I love it. It's a new path of life, and I'm just going full throttle with it.
That's fantastic. A similar story to some other friends of mine that, once the kids were kind of grown, it was like, you know what? I think I want to do something else. And I think I want to do what I'm passionate
Yeah.
about. I've been very fortunate in my life to kind of run them simultaneously. I still have young children at home. But we keep on at it with our music and now the podcast as well. So
That's
do
cool.
you have recorded music that's out there into the world?
I do. I have 2 albums out. They're on every digital platform. I have one called Come Sit by My Fire and one called Howl at the Moon. I'm a country girl, so everything's kind of relates to, or the album names are related to what we do out here in the country. And then I have 3 or 4 singles out also. Yeah. I'm just going to keep
Awesome.
recording. I have tons of songs, tons of music to record.
Yeah, well, 30 some years, 3 decades of writing and kind of filling up notebooks, and you
hmm
play guitar as well?
Yes, I do. I learned guitar when I was 20. My dad was a lead guitarist in blues, rock, kind of a shredder. And when I was 20, and I grew up with him being in bands. So, but when I was 20, I thought, hey, I'm not going out into this world. Like, maybe I should learn guitar. What is it? And I thought guitar. So he taught me a song, and from that, I instantly went into writing.
That's a similar experience for myself. I think I was writing a little bit beforehand, but then, I played drums in concert band and picked up bass for jazz band, about 7th grade. And then by 8th grade, it was like, okay, Dad, you have this guitar. I'm watching you. I'm already kind of learning
Right.
things. And he gave me his, 1950s Mel Bay chord book. And and I was like, cool. Well, the chords haven't
Hey.
changed, right? So you don't need the fancy stuff and the courses, and we never paid for any kind of lessons. I just fell in love with it. And I think
Neat.
that's something,
Yeah,
in
me too.
this
And
age
like
where
like you said, I was writing. I was writing words forever. I've been writing words forever. It's just that when the guitar got put in my hand, it's like those two worlds collided, or became one, fused. And yeah, that's the
it's
rest. That's
interesting to
been
hear
the
you
rest of
say
my
that because
story.
I say it all the time. I say it all the time that there's something incredible about the way a human voice and the 6 strings on a guitar just kind of blend perfectly, and how they kind of pull songs out of us sometimes. It's
hmm
an incredible instrument. There's a reason that it is so prevalent in rock and blues and country, right? That
Right.
uh, these genres rely heavily on storytelling, and the guitar is just a great vessel to bring forth those melodies for the sake of storytelling. So fun to hear someone else
Yeah, I
kind of
was thinking.
allude to things I say a lot.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Because it was kind of like the missing piece, because I was a writer, and then I get this guitar and learn chords, and then it became the portal to this. I will say I think that the guitar taught me how to sing. I wasn't ever a singer, but that reverberation, when you're sitting there on the side of your bed with that guitar, like, whenever you're in the right place, the guitar guided me as far as staying on key or learning
And
how
you
to
know what?
sing.
That's something that I don't think I'd ever really thought about. But you're so right that having that right against your chest and then vibrating at the same, and being right there in tune, if you will, with the guitar, that probably speaks to why the instrument is as powerful as it is, especially an acoustic instrument where those waves are
Yeah.
traveling through the wood and amazing.
Through
What a
you.
great insight, Damaris.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
You should be the
That's because I'm
podcast
afraid to
host.
sing with the guitar. What's that?
I said you should be the
What'd you
podcast
say?
host. Uh,
Oh, okay. No, that's good though.
oh, well, fantastic. So we got a couple albums out. You've been playing. Are you playing out and in your local area? Where is your local area?
Well, I live in Humboldt, Kansas. It's a really small town in southeast Kansas. It's less than 2,000 people. I like to kind of say that we're in the middle of everywhere because we're very rural, but 2 hours in the circle around us is Kansas City, Joplin, Tulsa, Wichita, right? So there's this Topeka. So there's about 6 million people in this little area. And yeah, when I first started getting out there playing my music, I did all of it locally, but really quickly, it just moved into everywhere else in the region. So I do travel. I play in all those towns. So and it's kind of a perfect blend because it's not or perfect route because it isn't too far away. So I go there and then I'll play in Tulsa, then I'll go play in Wichita, Lawrence, Topeka. By the time I make it back to that town again, it's been a while and they're ready to see me again. So, and I've built quite a sweet little endearing following because I am a storyteller. So people connect deeply to the songs, and I also talk quite a bit in between the songs and tell a little bit more about it. I kind of integrate both of those practices into what my show looks like.
And I think that's what people want these days, right? The reason that social media is so popular for a lot of us artists is because people have a chance then to learn about the artist and the stories behind the songs. And I think we are, while attention, it's weird, right? It's a weird time because people's attention spans are so short, but yet if they're interested in something, they will binge it and you will give it all of your attention for a long time.
Absolutely.
And I think in this day
Yes.
and age, and this is kind of just coming to me now, is that we want to be less viral and more binge worthy, right? And binge worthy is a lot longer
Oh, that's good to
process.
know. Yeah.
It's a lot longer
Hmm.
process because you kind of have to be a lot
Hey,
more invested in it. But the rewards of that long term, I think, are much higher, right? There isn't the burnout that you
right.
get from just trying to be a sensation when you're out there building, building a following, building a community around you and your music. So very interesting. And you're in a great
I
spot
agree.
there, right? I just blew through Joplin and didn't make it into Tulsa because we kind of routed. We were on our way down to Austin from Plattsburgh, Missouri,
Where are
just
you
a few
from?
weeks ago. I live in a small
Okay.
town. Mine's smaller than yours. That's our South Dakota thing. So, a
Okay.
little town called Tyndall in southeast South Dakota, about 1,000 people, little farm town. I'm sure very similar to where you're at. But while everything isn't 2 hours away, we're 5 hours away from the Twin Cities. We're 4 or 5 hours
Oh,
away from
okay.
Des Moines. 3 hours from
That's nice.
Omaha. So we're kind of working the
It's
northern
kind of the same
edge
thing.
of where
Yeah.
you're at. Yeah, and that's what we've been doing. This summer I've been branching out a little farther. I got down into the St. Louis area, Kansas City. But then, next week, actually, in just a few days, now that's kind of occurred to me, I'll be driving through Little Rock and going out to Memphis and then hitting a festival called Vibe Fest, June 20th and 21st, and that's in Summersville, Missouri. So probably 5 hours east of you, but
So
a great little spot.
are you playing music or are you taking your podcast on the road?
Both, right? And that's the great benefit of having a podcast that's about music and musicians, is that I kind of tour with both in tow, where I can set up and to just invite other musicians to come out and talk to me like we will do in Little Rock, kind of almost an open mic, but it's a showcase for us to see who are the talented people in the area that we want to work with, that we want to showcase out of your town, and to kind of give each one of our markets out there a chance to shine. And that's really, I'm very invested in building, our upper Midwest scene, and trying to get farther south. But, I say from the Great Lakes to the Rocky Mountains, and from, the Canadian border all the way to the Gulf of America, we want to meet as many artists and as many, interesting, creative people as we can. And while we can do a lot of that from home, and to do these Zoom calls and this kind of communication, it's always better when we can get together live. And having been a,
Definitely.
touring musician most of my life, not necessarily on a large, tour bus scale, I've always been out and not afraid to find new venues and to go out into new communities, and to make new friends. So that's what this summer has been
Yeah.
about, is getting out and coming through and finding all the little kind of hidey holes along this I-35, I-29 corridor here, where we can
Okay.
start to build ourselves into more of a regional name. Right now, we're more of a local podcast. A lot of people that were already in my network: Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, a little bit in Nebraska. And now we're just trying to expand that a little bit, and spend the next 30 years really digging into these relationships with people and growing our community and building something that lasts the test of time. We're not, like I said, we're not trying to go viral. We're trying to be binge worthy. We're trying to be something
I
that you
love
want
that.
to dig into and stay for life. So now you're a big
Hmm.
part of that, Damaris. It sounds like we are perfectly
Yay.
aligned.
Thank you. I know. Thanks for letting me come in, because the thing is I mean, I'm gonna take that with me, the part about being binge worthy, because um, you know, it's kind of like that hook of your storyteller, that engagement that you're talking about. It does take that in the beginning to kind of, you said the short attention span is, if you're engaging though, that attention span is instantly ignited. And then, so I need to be thinking what you just said about what that next layer is, and that is turning yourself into binge worthy. Which, by the way, I had a lady come in the other day to my work, and she said, hey, we found you on YouTube and we ended up listening to you all day long. So her husband and her just had me up on the big screen in their living room, and they just kept me on, and they just let every video go. And I'm like, okay, so that's exactly what you're talking about. She's like, I never
Yeah.
knew. You're so, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's because I'm not chasing that lightning in a bottle, right? Like that doesn't, if
yeah.
that happens,
No,
that's
I'm
going to
not
happen
either.
because we've put in the work every single day throughout
Yeah.
the years to make ourselves, to put ourselves in that position. And I don't think in this day and age, I don't feel like you can make content, right? You're not writing songs to try and make it on pop country radio, right? I for
No,
myself as a
I'm not. I've
songwriter,
never. Mm-mm.
all of my
I.
songs are deeply
Mm-mm.
personal anyway. So I'm never,
Yep.
if
You're
one of
very
them make
personal.
it to that, it's a miracle. But I'm never creating content in that way. And maybe that's exactly
Right.
why, we won the Content Creator of the Year award from the Midwest Country Music Organization, because we were committed to just, no, we're going to make the stuff that we care about. And when other people start to dig
I
into
can
that
already
and
tell by
create our
talking to
content,
you. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I've always been a big
It's
music
so true.
fan, right? As well as a songwriter myself, I've always been a fan of other songwriters. And a year ago, I kind of fell right into podcasting by accident almost, and have found a home for myself. And now how do we create this into more magazines and publications and all the things that used to be around 20 years ago that I remember, that made the awesome music scenes that I cared about really great. We're trying to bring that back. And,
Yeah.
especially post COVID, a
Absolutely.
lot of these independent publications and things like that, a lot of them just, went belly up because they had no market anymore. And now that the world is, reemerging over the course of the last several years, for us, Minneapolis is kind of our big scene. And, they were completely shut down, where South Dakota and Iowa, Nebraska maybe kept going and we had some gigs. Minneapolis and Minnesota, for the most part, were completely shut down for almost 2 years or longer. And now it's starting to that beast is starting to reawaken. And we've positioned ourselves right on kind of that cutting edge to be, right there for it, and to be the people that talk about all of these artists that are out there doing it, and maybe alleviating some of the pressure of promoting themselves by making it easy, making it a conversation.
I think it's necessary. You don't get the opportunity very often, and I can say, like, I can tell by the way that you're interactive with me. It really is about community, and I like that. I like the free flow conversation type podcasting. I've done some where, and it's not. I'll take anybody. I love to speak to my music, but there is a difference between having your list of questions ready and then just free flowing like this. So I appreciate this because I didn't know what I was getting into today but I am always ready. At this point, I'm like, throw it at me. So.
Yeah, and maybe I would benefit in some areas by having a very structured podcast. And some people have asked me for that, but I want to get to know you, especially on the first podcast that
Right.
I don't know you at all, right? We haven't, a few emails and text messages back and forth, but I want to know your story. And I think the way that we communicate with each other, and what makes it really drives it home, is that I'm an artist myself. So the questions that
Right.
I'm going to ask about your career are going to be much different than someone who's outside of the music, maybe in the industry, but outside of the performing songwriting aspect of it. So I think that helps. I think the
Yes.
insights that I have from my own career help to drive that a little bit and make it very comfortable for any artist to sit down and just kind of roll with me. But thank you. I appreciate you saying so, because I've been committed to keeping that, because I am a conversationalist. I don't want to be boxed in, I don't want to
That's what the come
put
sit
any
by my
limits.
fire.
Yeah,
That's kind
exactly.
of like
And I
that.
love that.
What the come sit by my fire vibe about is like, come in, let's sit down.
Yeah, let's hang out. Let's enjoy each other's company. And I will say that I have fully enjoyed your company today. We're running out of time
Thank
on this
you.
episode, but I would love to have you
Okay.
back anytime you got something to promote as well. Go ahead and plug all your stuff one more time for everybody before I let you get out of here.
All right. Well, my name is Damaris. You can find me at damarismusic.com to follow my shows, where I'm going right now. What's coming in front of me, I'm getting ready to do a fundraiser in my local community for Humanity House, so I'm excited about that, and it's helping with poverty. And then I will head off to Wichita for a few gigs, and I've got the Tulsa State Fair, and I've got church studios in Tulsa, so I have some really good gigs coming up. But you can follow me on any digital platform. I've got, I don't know, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then look at my website. It's really going to connect you to who I am.
Where's the website at?
It is damarismusic.com.
Perfect.
Does that help?
Well, Damaris,
Okay.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep, that's it. That's it. That's me.
Oh, all right. Well, you got it. It's damarismusic.com. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And Damaris, thank you for being part of the scene.
It's very nice to meet you. See you later.